But you know what else is fair, guys? Piracy. Online piracy is great combat. So piracy is coming back, guys, because things are getting too out of hand, too expensive, and also everything you buy you do not own unless you pirate it. I guess.
Accounted for a third of all internet traffic. LimeWire had more monthly users than Facebook.
Oh, I remember LimeWire.
It was the only video store in town where you were sure to find what you were looking for. Hypothetically, of course. The world was slowly switching from physical to digital media, and even people who weren't particularly tech-savvy realized that digital goods could be replaced endlessly with practically zero marginal cost. At its peak, 95% of all music downloads were pirated because it had become cheaper and, above all else, an easier way to fill up large digital libraries that were being made possible by cheap digital storage. But then, it just stopped. Since 2012, the internet has gotten faster, storage has gotten cheaper, and people have become more comfortable with computers, which should have just accelerated a growth trend. But it didn't. Since 2015, peer-to-peer file sharing has collapsed in popularity, and you might think you already know why. Streaming services like Spotify and Netflix were just a better, easier, and safer way to access content. And now, as these services have become markedly worse and simultaneously more expensive, piracy is making a comeback. It seems pretty simple, right? The only problem is, that's not the whole story. Realistically, these companies knew this day would come. It was just really important that they could pretend it wouldn't.
For a lot of people, they've decided it's time
Hey, Mustafa! Thank you for the follow. How you doing?
Some of them I'm not using, and it's just wasting money.
There's so many.
I'm an advocate for physical media. Same here. I like physical media more than digital media because I obviously both sides have their own pros and cons on certain things, but I prefer physical media. Annoying lizard, thank you for the follow. Thank you. You weren't following me? Just kidding. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate the follows, guys. But yeah, I prefer physical media. What do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer physical or digital? Because again, at least I own it. Like I made it like an example yesterday where like I could plug this, I could like put this in right here on the PS5 and I could play the game without the internet connection because the game's in here. This is not a key, right? There's some Switch 2 games that literally has the key on the like top right corner. Said this is the key. Even though you got the physical cartridge, it's the key to the game. You don't actually have the game in the cartridge. It's the empty cartridge. But obviously there's some that I have like they don't have that. It's a full game in the thing. I want to own that because at least I own that property. I own the game. The only thing that's gonna happen if I like I don't know if I lose it, if I break it or whatever, right? Obviously that's my responsibility. But I own the game. I own that media. If I bought it online, all the media could be gone in an instant. They could take away that media at any point, at any time, for any reason, or it just doesn't work, or you have no internet connection because you're somewhere and you can't download it and you can't play it. Or just like I don't know. I just don't like digital media. I just don't like it too much. That's why I don't buy. I don't buy a lot of digital media as much, guys, compared to everything else. Like I really don't.
Of these, it's hard to keep track.
At that point, that's an adversarial relationship. I don't want to pay people to enter adversarial relationships.
We aim, as I said,
Yeah, that's true. Higher quality. Yeah, it could be.
company with margins that our shareholders will feel good about.
So what really made piracy go away and what's really bringing it back might sound simple, but there's actually a bit more going on. First and foremost, the majority of people actually would like to acquire their media legally as long as it was easy and not ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, that's true.
Reasonable people understand that it costs time and money to produce a song, film a movie, or develop a video game, and the people involved in these projects do need to be compensated or else they are just not going to make them. Even people who frequent the high seas, so to speak, know this better than anybody else. A survey coming out of Australia at the peak of online piracy found that people who pirated content were actually more likely to pay for it if it was available. In a finding that really ages the study, online pirates were far more likely to pay for movies and music through iTunes or QuickFix. This was because people who pirated content were just more likely to consume content overall, and most of them would only make the trip to the Bay if they couldn't find what they were looking for more legitimately. So there were two things that changed after 2013. Sure, there were a few high-profile crackdowns on some of these sites, but even the regulators themselves knew they were just playing a game of whack-a-mole. One of the most downloaded files on the Pirate Bay was the Pirate Bay, a complete copy of the site with all of the addresses that could be set up by basically anybody with some basic server hardware in the event that the authorities took down the original site. But then came along the streaming sites that, thanks to faster internet speeds, could let users watch content on demand without granting them direct access to digital files which could then be copied and shared illegally. The big thing was that these options were just so easy compared to piracy, and so cheap compared to buying songs or movies one by one that it just didn't really make sense to bother with anything else. Nowadays, that's clearly changed. There are dozens of streaming services that are each getting more and more expensive every year.
Oh my god.
Watch are being
Bro, they're like, bro, the streaming service is all over the place, man. And you know the crazy thing is, all these like shows could be gone at any point at any time. I was in my neighbor's basement buying all their VCR tapes the other day. I'm happy I can utilize my CTR. Oh, really? That's sick. What kind of movies did you get? Yeah, because look, all these like shows to be seen right here, right here, guys. Sorry, I'll make them bigger. These could be gone at any point at any time. Obviously, Ring of Power, that could be gone. Who cares? But every other show, even though Disney owns Marvel, the weirdest thing ever, they can actually lose the licensing to some of these movies or something like that. It's crazy. It's like a weird dynamic. But yeah, a lot of these shows, I mean, some of them will for sure will always be there, but like at any point, anytime, they could take away all these shows, movies, or anything like that. If like, let's say the service is down, or you don't have internet connection, obviously. I mean, they do have some options for offline watching, but like, it's just too much. Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, yeah. It's the ads that killed me on the paid ad free tiers. Yeah. You pay a monthly subscription and you still have to watch ads. That is bonkers, bro. That is bonkers, dude.
Providers, the services themselves are getting worse by introducing ads and pushing less relevant content, and on top of all of that, it's just not that easy anymore. Even individual TV shows have certain seasons split up over different streaming services, and the first step in sitting down to watch a movie these days is to Google what streaming service has the 1984 release of Gremlins, and if you're unlucky, what streaming service plus what VPN combo will get you the movie you want to watch. If you're already going through all that effort, it gets really tempting to just replace streaming services with your port of choice, because in most cases, it will just be easier. So yeah, streaming services were cheap and easy, which killed the need for piracy. But then they slowly became expensive and terrible, which brought it back. Pretty straightforward, right? Wrong. It's easy to write this whole thing off as just dumb companies being needlessly greedy to their own peril. And while that's definitely part of the problem, there is a lot more to it than that. Music streaming by comparison is decent. There are multiple services, but almost all of them have almost all of the music that you would possibly be looking for. As a result, nobody really bothers to pirate songs anymore, which is particularly impressive when you remember that just 15 years ago, 95% of music was being downloaded illegally.
Yeah, they fixed that with the streaming, yeah.
Revenue they have got from streaming versus physical album sales. But most of them still go along with it because even a small share of something is better than most of their music being accessed for free. This raises a potentially unpopular idea, that it might not be streaming that's broken, it might be the movie industry that's broken. The golden age of streaming was never going to last because it was never meant to last. So it's time to learn how money works to find out why piracy is really making a comeback.
Okay.
This video was made possible by iScanner. I was sorting through some old receipts for tax season, trying to remember which ones I still needed to file. And of course, one of the important ones had coffee stains all over it. The text was barely readable. Classic me. That's why I started using iScanner. I just scanned the receipt and it used AI to clean everything up. It straightened the page, fixed the lighting,
AI!
and removed the worst of the stains. I could finally read the numbers again and drop the PDF into my records. Since then, it's kind of been world. It has over 300.
Oh, it was an ad. Oh. It's also been a very long time since I have gotten excited about a new movie. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for new movies coming out from Marvel finally, which is Fantastic Four, X-Men movies. That's some of my favorite characters, like from X-Men universe. So I'm excited for that. I'm also excited for the new Superman film. I'm just excited. I want to watch it, kind of thing. So I'm like finally getting back a little bit with Marvel. especially because Daredevil Born Again. I enjoy that show. I liked it, so I can't wait for the second season for that. So I'm not. I'm not gonna say. I watched Ironheart. It is garbage. It's boring. It's just very very slow. Like extremely slow. So I wasn't really a fan of it. But other than that, I'm excited for Aerial Project. Honestly, right now, like not extremely excited, but I'm very curious to watch it. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I felt that. Like, I want to watch it. I'm excited. I want to see what's gonna happen. That kind of thing. It's been a while, guys. It's been a while because I haven't watched any Star Wars stuff they've been coming out with anything at all. Even if it's good, which is that people say that Andor is good, but I just don't care.
100 million paying subscribers, and unlike a lot of its competitors, it's actually profitable. But from its very first days of online streaming, they knew they would eventually lose people back to piracy. They just really didn't care. And to see why, I'm sorry, but you are going to have to look at some financials.
Wait, what? They didn't care?
$8.7 billion in net income after taxes, which is extremely impressive. But it still makes it hard to justify the valuation of more than $500 billion. At that rate, shareholders would need 57 years for their investment to pay off, which is not a reasonable bet for a company in an industry that has only been dominant for a decade. 57 years ago, watching a movie looked like this. And in another 57 years from now, it's highly unlikely that we will still be watching movies through the current selection of streaming services. Now, most investors in this company aren't dumb. They know that Netflix can't make their money back with its current structure. What they are banking on is being able to offer a cheaper service that they can charge more for in order to fatten up those margins.
Let's not talk about my margins, by the way. Being nice and fat, that's a nice shirt. Do they make it for you?
Anyway, cutting content, raising prices, and pushing strange features like mobile games within the app are not some surprise new rollout. They are part of a development plan that
they're trying something new. Yeah.
Since it started offering online streaming, it would just
they're doing the whole gaming thing now. I don't know if you guys noticed that Netflix have the gaming stuff, bro. Like a part of me is not surprised they are doing gaming now, even though it's like mobile gaming, even though it's like not extremely like a big thing. But I won't be surprised that if you start seeing AAA games, like big AAA games on that Netflix platform, where all you need to do is connect your controller like a Steam and play on Netflix.
Be a lot better if they could do it without competition. Now, on the expenses side, there is some good news. As technology improves, network infrastructure has become cheaper for the same capacity, which means the actual cost to stream videos to users is getting better every year. Netflix's cost of revenue adjusted for inflation has actually been stable since 2022, despite adding almost 100 million new users in that time. Included in those costs are the aforementioned servers and network infrastructure, but it also includes the cost to license and produce their own movies, TV shows, and games. Another big reason their costs have been improving is because they just aren't licensing as much content as they used to, and that's for two reasons. The first was a business decision to cut down on a cost, especially for content that wasn't drawing in new users. The second reason is simply because they can't get their hands on as many titles anymore, because independent studios have made their own streaming services and want to keep their biggest IPs exclusive, so they can force users to either switch to their platform or
like The Office,
more streaming services. Netflix is slowly producing its own titles, but that hasn't caught up to the content they are losing from licensing. So then why does this mean that Netflix doesn't care about piracy? Well, publicly they say they do, of course, but piracy is going to hurt their competition a lot more than it's going to hurt them. If they Netflix and then give up and pirate it, that didn't really cost Netflix any money, because the vast majority of content out there wasn't theirs to lose, and they most likely didn't spend the money producing it. A 2023 paper in the Journal of Economic Behavior and Organization titled Pirate and Chill found that when movies moved off Netflix to another platform, piracy of that content increased by more than 20%. Now,
damn,
that's an amazing name for a professional journal article. But apart from that, it showed why Netflix hasn't been too concerned with online piracy.
Wow, I didn't. Wow.
The company's chief content officer, they said that in order for Netflix to be successful, we need to become movie studios faster than movie studios can become us. Piracy that disproportionately hurt legacy movie studios and their libraries of content was not something that Netflix would encourage, but behind closed doors, they certainly weren't too sad it was happening. Another way to think about this is that obviously Amazon isn't encouraging shoplifting, but it's a problem that hurts their competition far more than it hurts them. Piracy has also been a handy little tool throughout the company's.
I was excited about Xbox allowing people to play games from other platforms like Steam on Xbox. Yeah, I mean, because Xbox realized they are no longer a company that people are looking forward to exclusive games anymore. They want easy access to Xbox games. That's what they're at. That's what they're at this point. They want their products to be used any way, any shape or form, because that is something new compared to every console right now, right? For example, for Nintendo and also PlayStation, right? You cannot do that. But with Xbox, you could do that. That is a big W for them. It's easier, accessible compared to the other consoles. So that makes perfect sense why they want to do that. Because again, for some time now, they just want to focus on making games and stuff. At least on like this side kind of thing. They no longer want to be like exclusive system anymore. They no longer, they're probably not even gonna make a next system. I think the only systems that are gonna be existing now are it's gonna be Nintendo and Sony. At this point, I could see Xbox at one point be like, yeah, we're good. Maybe. Because like their systems are PC. Like, you know what I mean? Like
history. Back in 2013,
but obviously not able to afford the PC, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Find out what was popular and therefore what was worth licensing. Okay, so Netflix doesn't care about the rise of piracy, but what about the actual Hollywood studios? Well, they obviously do, and they crack down on IP theft with furious anger, but they are in a difficult situation. They could send piracy back to the dark ages by reconcentrating their content onto a single easy platform.
Or make money off of
That
it.
would probably be Netflix. Which
What if I just figure out what to make money off privacy?
Go along with after investing so much in their own service. If they keep competing though, they are just going to make the experience worse for everybody and probably lose more ground to the high seas.
Which they already
For
have.
these companies, this whole fight could not be happening at a worse time. There is a reason why music studios were able to play nice and make their content available just about anywhere while movie studios were fighting to the death.
Yeah.
Music is simply much cheaper to produce, and there are far more sources of alternative revenue beyond just directly selling a song or an album. Artists don't make as much from streaming as
So imagine if companies work together, like Hollywood companies make like 2 services and that's it. That'd be way more better. And well, it may be bad, but in paper it seems good. They announced they are making a new system, but it's like gonna be like more like a PC. Ah, see, there you go. It'll be dead if they don't offer a disc tray. I think you can just do it. I think that what they're gonna do, like the PS5, they're gonna allow you to have a digital version and a disc tray version. Also, you could also have like a digital version. If you change your mind, you could just like have a connector to connect the disc tray. They can also do that. It's very easy to do that at this
they
point.
would from a physical album sale. But
All right, let me get some painters, guys.
Merchandising and other licensing deals. On the flip side, movies have largely been getting more expensive to produce, while cinema attendance has
games
recovered from its dip during COVID. Ironically, one of the
The
biggest
streaming
releases of the past 5 years was actually for a music studio with the cinema release of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour.
Really?
In the past, poor box offices wouldn't matter as much, because mid-budget movies could make a lot of their money back through DVD sales. But obviously, that's not really a thing anymore. So studios have put even more effort into pushing their streaming services to eventually make back the difference. It's a bold strategy, and there are hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap at stake, so executives really want to pretend that eventually it'll work out. But if it doesn't, there are some lessons to be learned from the music industry which didn't beat piracy. It just made it unnecessary.
Yeah, it made it better.
Movies have simply become too expensive for the current market. Studios have recognized that people are only going to the movies for special occasion releases these days because it's expensive, the theater experience isn't that good anymore, and people can just wait a month and watch it for free on one of the streaming services that they were already paying for. Instead of making the whole thing cheaper and putting less of their eggs in a single basket, they have doubled down on producing mega blockbusters. Of the 20 most expensive movies ever made, 90
are they actually trying?
The last 10 years after streaming was already mainstream. These figures also only count the production budget, not the marketing budget. And on the revenue side, the box office doesn't include the share paid out to movie theaters. With even extremely generous estimates of those arrangements, only about half of these releases made their money back. And some of these, like the Marvels, Snow White, Dial of Destiny, and the latest Mission Impossible movie, are shaping up to be catastrophic losses. So far, studios have been able to justify these flagship productions to their investors by talking about their IP value, which can later be extracted by bringing in customers to their streaming platforms. But that isn't really happening. Customers who join because they want to watch a single movie didn't tend to stay subscribed for very long compared to those who enjoy a deeper library of mid-budget movies or TV shows. I don't know about you, but I tend to take my subscription to whatever streaming service is hosting The Office this month. These huge productions also put more strain on the business.
Also, that's why a lot of streaming services allow you to cancel at any time, and give you discounts to change your mind too as well. So there's also those options too, and they also give you an option where you pay for this month and you don't pay for next month. So you have access for this month, but you don't have access for next month. So that kind of thing. But you have it they do it every other month kind of thing. So they know that people are leaving and resubscribing and leaving, resubscribing because they have something else they want to watch, whether it's Disney, Netflix, Prime, or whatever. They understand at least that part. We're like, okay, I get it. I understand why they're leaving, and I understand when they will come back. So yeah, so that's where we're at right now with streaming, because again, it's too expensive. Imagine paying $10 to $20, which is crazy saying 20, a month on a lot of these services. Yeah, that eats up your money. You're not even watching all that content, so it's like you're wasting money, in my opinion. You're just wasting it. Nobody watches that much content. Nobody. It's just very hard to do that. That's why a lot of people just going to pirate it. It's going to pirate it.
As these losses have to be made up somewhere, and that is more often than not increased prices, more ads, and worse overall service. Now, I would forgive you for not feeling too sorry for Hollywood studio executives, but they are really in a no-win situation here. The harder they push back against the changing media landscape, the harder they push people towards the high seas. So anyway, now might be a good time to shamelessly plug that these videos are being made available ad-free on Spotify. So if you would prefer to listen in or watch it over there, I have left a link in the description.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that right now, but it's not letting me.
Services that have been getting so bad, go and watch this video next to find out.
Yeah, I try to do that. I try to put it on Spotify. It's not letting me. It's not letting me make the account. I might have to make a new account or something. Own nothing and be happy. Wait, not like that. So that's yeah. That's no reason why a lot of people prefer Priority at this point. They don't even have that much I want to watch. That's true. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's either they make a deal with each other in Hollywood, or they make a great deal. For example, Disney has a deal with Well, I mean they own it, but ESPN and all this kind of stuff, and you can all watch it in one place, right? So if they have a deal with Prime, Netflix, Amazon, I never said that already. Disney, whatever. If they just make a goddamn deal, then yeah. I have subscriptions on 2 places. Prime, because I use the Amazon Prime a lot. So I watch I get access to that, so it's really great for me. And also Peacock, because I watch the WWE content. I watch the pay-per-views every single month in WWE. So that's why I subscribe to Peacock, right? That's just me personally. But yeah, it's I think I'm just gonna I don't know, dude. I'm at a point where I might just end up canceling my Peacock and maybe pirate it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just kidding. But yeah, man, I understand why people are pirating, because again, everything's just too expensive, man. I 100% understand. I get it, man. Because yeah, everything's just too expensive, dude. Too freaking expensive. Everything's adding up. Everything is eating at your money at this point. So it's does it really make sense to have 3 services and all that? Bruh. You know what's weird too, by the way? I recently found out that it makes sense, but not many people have have their music on their phone anymore. You know what's crazy? I had music on my phone, straight from my phone. I don't have it on Spotify or anything like that. I literally have it on here. I don't have it through Spotify. I don't use Spotify. I never did. I have all this music for 5+ years, or even way longer than that. I keep transferring the music I had from back in the day to now, and I updated with some new songs here and there. But yeah, everybody just uses their Spotify. I don't use that. I don't even subscribe to Spotify. I don't even use the free service or anything. I like it better than the majority of the population was on cable. I was enjoying my $10 subscription. Yeah, exactly. I was just enjoying $10 subscription, on Netflix. Something cheap, something simple. Bro, I still have CDs and iPod. Yeah, an iPad is great to have nowadays, honestly. I prefer that to freaking Spotify or anything. I never liked Spotify as much. But it may be a new market to get into. That's why I may upload my videos on Spotify. But Again, I don't know. I don't know anything about like I'm not really feeling Spotify. So I don't really hear music like that anymore. Like I listen to some music, but not like that, you know.